All good? It's all quiet after the elections.
Not for long, though.
Not for long? You're going to stir things up again? The next race has started?
Seems
Race
like
for
it's
governor.
always starting.
Well, thank you all for joining us. Let me shut that door there, Tom. Hi. All good. Shortly after I became Attorney General, I held a press conference, actually in February 2011, to publicly commit the full power and resources of our office to fight against the scourge of prescription drug abuse in Ohio. That effort has continued and continues today. I'm here today to once again put the full power and weight of this office behind really the new big drug fight in this state, the battle against toxic and deadly synthetic drugs. Whether it's the users who consume them and die, the families who suffer the aftermath, or the law enforcement officers who must deal with both, synthetic drugs are destroying too many lives. Some synthetic drugs have names like OMG, Bizarro, Ninja, or sold generically as types of herbal incense. Others like Ivory Wave and Vanilla Sky are commonly known as bath salts. You can see up here some of the ones. Some of the wonderful pictures here. I think Disney may be wanting to do something about that one. Whatever they're called, though, they're dangerous, they're deadly, and they're really tearing at the fabric of our communities. Synthetic drugs primarily affect young people. According to DEA, 60% of synthetic drug abuse cases reported to poison control centers nationwide involve users aged 25 or younger. It's particularly disturbing that synthetic drugs are so often easily available from the corner store. And I think, to me, that is what is shocking. You can go in the state of Ohio, and it's not just to head shops. Sometimes it's to filling stations, other stores. You can literally walk in, and there they are, just like they're okay. So right on our shelves. They're cheap. They range from $10 up to $75 for a jar or for a package. They're also, of course, available over the internet. Some are chemically similar to amphetamines, but potentially are far more lethal. Unlike cocaine and amphetamines, which typically begin to wear off in a matter of hours, some types of these synthetic drugs enter the bloodstream and linger for days and sometimes for weeks. Synthetic drugs come in colorful packaging with trendy images. And even though some labels say the contents are, quote, not for human consumption, everyone taking them knows exactly what they're for. The resulting high can devastate the user, his or her family, as well as put law enforcement officers at risk. The high can induce violence and extreme paranoia. Users also say they develop a raving addiction that causes them to crave more and more of this poison. Let me share some examples of the effects of synthetic drugs have had on users right here in Ohio. In Columbus, police shot a man last May who was holding a knife to his girlfriend's throat. During a violent episode, his family blamed on bath salts. In a separate incident, the Ohio State Highway Patrol confronted a man who, after using bath salts, reported that raccoons had set fire inside his home and stolen his cell phone. He proceeded to chop up his deck with a hatchet while looking for the fire-setting raccoons. In Colorado, synthetic drugs led to a young man's death by strangulation when friends tried to restrain him during a violent fit. In Louisiana, a 21-year-old slit his throat in front of his family after snorting bath salts. In Texas, a man who was high on the synthetic drug Spice assaulted his housemates and then beat, strangled, and chewed off hunks of their pet dog's flesh. People mistakenly think that because this stuff comes in what appears to be commercial packages and is readily available to buy over the counter and on the internet, that it's safe. It is not. We know that by what we're seeing in our BCI crime lab and by what's happening in hospital emergency rooms. Which brings me to our next speaker. At this point, I'd like to ask Dr. Dennis Mann, an emergency room physician from Miami Valley Hospital in Dayton, to share some of the things that he has seen over the years in that position.